Hey guys, today I want to teach you something that I think that a lot of you might be missing out on. One of the major most important things is that you email your contact list. Whether it's 2 people or 1,000 people, it doesn't matter. You need to do this on a daily basis. Now I'm going to show you a quick tip on how you can do it really super fast so that you do not have to be really challenged by this. I want to teach you a real quick concept about email marketing. For one thing, when you look at this list for emails, you have the choice of sending, adding a campaign, viewing and editing a campaign, deleting campaigns, or some other things in here which I almost never use. Now, obviously, you send a campaign you've already created. Understand something. Campaigns are your emails. They call them campaigns because they're a separate little shell that holds on to your email. But what's nice and really powerful about this, let's just go to view for a minute so I can explain what I'm talking about a little bit. But as you come in and you look, it lands automatically on the first campaign that is the first one in the list. In other words, a campaign can contain many emails or just one email. But I'm going to teach you a new concept that you probably haven't thought about, and that is the broadcast. Now, there's a few already default ones in your system, but I'm going to teach you how to create your own broadcasts that you can actually resend as many times as you want. Now, what's valuable about doing this is creating enough of them that your prospects won't realize that you're sending one they've seen before. Or you can actually go in and edit just the subject line so that it is the same one, but it's a different one as far as your prospects are concerned, your contacts. They don't know because a lot of them don't open the first time. But what if you changed the title and it made it more interesting and they decided to click? So what I'm going to show you first off is, look at this. I've got a whole bunch of them, and most of these are things that I have already created in the past. So I'm going to show you one I've created already. This is the campaign. It's called Broadcast, $500, and it's one message. I have a lot of those, and the reason why I have a lot of those is because it's a quick send. You can send out, and this is the one I sent this morning to my personal list. So let's look at it to see what it is. Because you don't always want to be selling. Sometimes you want to be sharing good content. Sometimes you want to be sharing other things that they can do with their company. Like, for instance, this training I'm doing right now will become a broadcast. In other words, a one email campaign that I will send out to my whole list. That is what a broadcast is. So let's just break down what this is. For one thing, I have the title. Now, the first, what I clicked on said broadcast in front of it. And the reason why I put it in front of it is because I wanted to know the title and that it's just one email. All my broadcasts are one email, and that's what they are. They're one email you can send out real quickly because you want to get in the habit of actually doing an email a day, at least, if not 2. I like to do one real early, like 6 or 7 a.m. my time, and then I like to do one a little bit later, like maybe late afternoon or towards evening. Now, they don't mind it if it's spread apart, because you got to remember, people are going to open at different times of the day. Now, there's some people that they'll go and check their email the very first thing in the morning. But most of them are not going to do that. Now, you think about it, the majority of your prospects are probably working. And so what are they going to do? They're going to go check their email at noontime and then after work a lot of the time. If they commute and they don't drive themselves, they probably could do it even while they're on the train, on the bus, or various different places like that. If they drive themselves, they may do it in the last couple of minutes before they close up their shop, their job that they're on, because there's a lot of downtime in a job when they're not really doing anything important, but yet they have to stay on the clock. So there's a lot of times when they can do that. An early morning email for sure, and one later in the day. Now, you don't want to be selling constantly. Your system is already doing that, because if you got into one of those funnels that has a whole series of emails, then you don't want to really repeat all of those all over again. What you want to do instead is create something that will make them see you as a person. So let's look at this email. For one thing, all of my emails start out with this banner. You don't have to do that, but it's a personal branding thing that I do. And then the second thing I always do is I say, "Hi, Lynda here." So I'm letting them know who I am. And then I'm talking to them in a conversational way. I know probably you hear that a lot. And I'm talking about, would you like to create a $500 day, $500 days. Now you also notice that in my email up here, I put dots between the dollar and the 500. The reason why I did that is because that kind of keeps their email from sending it to spam, because whenever you put anything about money, a dollar sign, or things like that, they automatically try to send it off to your spam folder, to the person's spam folder. So you want to avoid getting sent to spam, because this isn't actually going to be a huge selling video. So what I said in the video, and I kept it fairly short, is I know you probably hear that a lot. How would you like to create $500 days? And then I say, I did too. So you're kind of becoming part of their friendship and commiserating and understanding. And for a while, didn't even believe it. But then it happened to me. Hey, don't take my word for it. I have a fantastic video for you to watch today. Now, this is a video that Franco created that I copied so that it's my funnel, but it's a follow-up page. It's not a capture page. They're already in my list, so I don't want to send them to a capture page, but I do want to send them to a follow-up page. So I sent that to them, and let's see if I can get, I don't know whether it sent to me or probably didn't send it to me on that email. Let's see, but it probably came to this one. Let's see if it's in here. And it's not showing up. Okay, so we'll go back in our campaign. So how do you go about creating your own campaign so that you can get started? If you've never done any before, then you want to just, what's good is you can kind of create the first one as your template. And then after you've created a template, then you can kind of make it into, you can copy that one over into the next ones that you're going to do. So I'm going to pretend I've never created one, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to emails, and I'm going to add a campaign. Remember, you have to add a campaign first before you're going to have a broadcast. And so one thing that you're going to do is you're going to write in this title area here. First thing you're going to always do is make it a broadcast. And the reason why you want to do that is it's going to center it into that area where it says broadcast. And it's going to make it easy to find it. Because the major, most important thing is, do you have in your email collection here a whole lot of made for you emails. So you don't want to send them to those. Those go with your funnels, and you only want to give one set of emails to each contact. If you give them many different kinds of email collections that they're seeing all the time, they're likely to unsubscribe because it will make it that they're getting way too many emails. So this broadcast is going to have one email in it, and it's going to get sent once unless I edit it or alter it in some way. So let's just say I'm going to just call this one Test for Training, because this is a brand new one and I'm not going to copy anything into it. So once you've done that part, it's going to ask you, do you want to choose a campaign to copy, or do you want to create your own campaign? When you're very brand new and you have not created any of these broadcasts before, you're not going to have anything to copy. So you don't want to copy one of the ready-made ones that are already in there, because you don't want more than one email. And you don't want it to sound like them. You want to sound like you. So say, no, I would like to create my own campaign. So you're going to create a campaign that's blank and has no emails. As you can see, there's no emails here. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to add an email to the campaign. Now this time it's going to ask you for a subject line, and this is inside the campaign, so when you go down the list of campaigns, the email doesn't show. So if this was going to be a real campaign I was going to send out, I would make it the same title as the broadcast. Now, remember the other one I showed you, it said broadcast and then it said 500 a day. Remember that? So whatever your title is that you're going to put on your email also goes right behind broadcast. I hope that makes sense. So this is going to be, because I'm going to probably go back and edit this and make it a real campaign later. Test for Training is what I put on the broadcast, remember? So I'm going to add that campaign, add that email. Now the next step is it has created an email, but there's no content inside. It's going to show the title you just created right here, and it's going to show no content because you have not done any content yet. Now, I've done in other times how you create that header. I'm not going to do that in this email, but what you do want to do is, hi, Lynda here. That is your salutation. That's like, hi, how are you? You know, you want to always have that in the front. Now, you have to decide, what is this about? Now, this one is a test, so it's not going to be something I'm truly going to send out to people, but I want you to get the idea of what this is about. So first off, I'm going to put body here because I'm going to come back to that. What you want to do at the end of every single email is you want to finish up by telling them that they can contact you. So I'm going to put my name here first, and then I'm going to say, hey, I am a real person. I care about you. And I answer all of my questions. And then I'm going to put in parentheses, just hit reply. I always answer. And then I'm going to put a smiley face behind it. Now, another thing, you want some sort of way that they can see you, they can find out more about you. So you want to go and you want to grab your personal Facebook profile. And you want to put it in the email underneath. This is part of the finishing what you do. I'm not going to do the body till after I do this part, because this is more important actually than what you put in the body. So in the body, I'm going to say, hey, hook up with me. And make this your words, not my words, in Facebook. And I'm going to actually make Facebook itself, oh, I don't want that space. I'm going to make Facebook itself a link. This is underneath my finish of the emails. So I'm going to come up here to where it shows a chain right here. See all these different things you can do. I'm going to put a chain, and the chain is your actual link. It's going to put that link where the words, whoops, it didn't do it right. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but it does. So sometimes it, for some reason, just throws the link in front of that line. If it does that, just eliminate it and start over. So I want it to actually hyperlink the word Facebook. So now you can see I have Facebook link as a link that they can click on when they come to my Facebook. When they see this email, they're going to be able to go. They have two ways they can contact me. They can either just hit reply, or they can go to Facebook. So that is the finishing process. So now we want to go into the body. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when you do your very first broadcast email, not only can you send it, but it can also become your template that you can copy for further campaigns in the future. So make sure that this one is written in a way that you want to use it. And the only thing that you would change each time is the body. So say this was actually my template, and I really wanted to send this. So I would say, I just, say this is a brand new list, you haven't talked to them before, wanted to say hi. I wanted to welcome you. And I wanted to share a special training with you. So one thing you can always do is, like, for instance, the Hangouts. Make sure that you have those links handy so that you can always grab them. If you haven't done that, I've suggested that in previous videos that I've done. And you can always ask me and I'll share those videos. But they're in our group, so for this, I want to actually send them to the Thursday Hangout page. Okay, new Hangout, that's Wednesday. The Thursday Hangout page is right here. This is not a capture page. This is the actual Hangout page that was last Thursday. So I'm going to actually come in here and say, did you get the training? Here it is. Okay, now I want them to click on these words. So I am going to make that also a clickable link. As you can see, you want it to just be the link without the HTTP. And then you're going to, whoops, it did that again. Why does it keep doing that? Okay, here is the link. And you put it here. So you want it to be clickable. Now, one other thing I want to do to this email, and I don't have any pictures in here, it's just a very plain email, is I want to make sure that it's readable. And they kind of default it to kind of a small size. So first off, I'm going to change the font to Arial. And I'm going to change the size up to 18. I want it to be very readable. See how much more readable that is just because I changed it? So now I have a finished email that I can send to my list. I'm going to save that. And that's going to finish this actual broadcast email. Now, you do not want to send it as test. That is just what I did for this training. But I want to make it easy for you to see where it is when I go back to send it. So the last step after you've created this broadcast is to go to email and send emails. And I'm not going to send this, but I'm going to show you the steps to sending it. So I'm going to come down here to broadcast, because now I know it's in the broadcast, and I'm going to find the one that says test. Remember, it says test. Make sure it's something that you're going to remember. See, here it is. Test for training, one message by me. See how easy that is to find when you do it that way? If you do it that way, you will always be able to put it together. And what's nice and powerful about doing it this way versus just changing a broadcast email is that you can reuse these anytime. Now, if you have a day when things are just crazy and you don't have time to actually put a new one together, just go change the title of the broadcast, the subject line, so you have to go actually inside. So change it on the broadcast and change it on the subject line to make sure that it's different. And then select all of your group, everybody that is on your list, and then you choose a date. Now I'm not going to send this, but I'll get to the very last step. And then you simply click this, I have read, and then you send. Now, as you can see, I have 582 leads, and the last time I did one of these demos, I had 300 and something. I've increased my leads by 200 and something amount of the leads that are actually receiving my emails. So that is your lesson for today. Create a campaign. Create an email inside of the campaign. Make sure it's a name that you can remember. I use broadcast on the campaign, and then the name that's going to go in to my subject line. So whatever your subject line is going to be, make it also behind the broadcast so that when you get done, you can find it simply by going into emails and send emails. And if you've done it that way, you'll be able to find it. And that's how I do mine. There's a lot of other emails in here that I'm not going to want to send. For instance, look at this one. It has 7 messages. You don't want to send a whole bunch of different ones of these large things. You want to send a one-time email every day. And when you send a one-time email every day, and as you can see, I have a lot of them in here. And what I can do all the time is if I want to change something and I want to send the same email, I just go in and do a slight edit. It takes a couple of seconds to do that. And then I have a brand new broadcast I can send out to my whole list. And when you have a list, and if you're buying leads, you don't want to have them not getting your emails any day of the week. Because if you do get in the habit of not sending emails, and then you start sending emails, they will actually unsubscribe. But if you make it a steady process of always sending out emails, don't send out campaigns that have 7, 8, 9 emails. Send out 1 a day. So you want to send out a broadcast. It says 1 message, right? And it needs to be pertinent to your list. And it needs to show that you're a real person, and it needs to show that you care about them. And so what I did in that little test is I showed them a training they could go to. And you can do that on a regular basis. We have our Thursday training, and we have our Wednesday training every single week, and you can be sending them to that. If you do any kind of training on Facebook, you can send them to that. If you have any blogs you're doing, you can send them to that. Make sure that you're doing that regularly every single week. And I promise you that you will start to see people start to open your emails and be interested in what you have to share. And that is how your sales start to grow. And that's what the bottom line is, isn't it? That's what I have for you today. Let me know what you think, and I'll be talking to you again tomorrow.